Hey there, it's Jessie Smith. Before we can get to the bonus episode, I need to share an important announcement with you all. Though we have just come back from a short hiatus, we the crew have decided it best to stick to it a little while longer. Don't worry, we'll be back soon. We just need a bit more time to prepare so we can give you the best show that we can. We have no definite return date to share with you all at present, but we'll keep our social medias updated with any new information in the coming weeks. We'll be returning with episode 9, The Alternative, very, very soon, we promise. In the meantime, you can share your thoughts on the show on social media with the tag MicrocosPod, rate and review us on your podcatcher of choice, or add a new show to your podcast list, such as The Heart of Ether or The Night Post. Until next time, work well.
Futuristic Trail Mix Productions presents Microcosmos, a science fiction podcast.
Miles, would it kill you to be quiet? I'm trying to get my beauty rest.
What does it matter to you? You should be able to rest regardless of external stimuli.
Yeah, well, it's annoying, so...
Ugh, sorry, no matter how hard I try to sleep, I can't shake this restless feeling I have.
Maybe if you didn't down so much caffeine.
I don't even like coffee, but I wouldn't be able to function without it. Not that you'd understand.
You're being quite rude, you know. I'm just trying to help you.
You're ridiculing me, more like it. Sorry, I just have to be up early tomorrow for that meeting with Emily, and I know I'll be kicking myself in the morning if I don't fall asleep soon.
Aw, does poor Mix Abbott need me to read them a bedtime story?
You know what? Yeah, that would be lovely, Cal.
Hey, you know I was joking.
And I'm not getting any more tired with all this bickering. You know, you won't have any fun tomorrow either if I don't get enough rest. Well, I'm waiting.
You want a bedtime story? Fine. Once upon a time, there was a software engineer named Miles Abbott. They never knew when to shut up. One night, though, they finally decided to, and everyone was happy. The end.
Cal.
Don't blame me. You didn't program me to tell stories.
Actually, I programmed you to do a lot of things, and this should be well within your capabilities. Do I need to go into your code again?
No, just fine. I'll make up an actual story if you're going to be so stubborn about it. Once upon a time, there was a fox who lived in a little village with a bunch of other animals.
Does the fox have a name?
No. This is one of those folktales where the animals are a metaphor, so they don't need names.
Let me guess, then. The fox was sly and mischievous.
Actually, no. The fox was incredibly sweet and made everyone cookies every Monday. Everyone in the village loved the fox.
But that's not what they usually represent.
And this is my story with my characters, so they can do whatever I want. Stop talking, this is supposed to help you sleep.
Fine.
So, this fox had a great life in this village, but there was one thing they really wanted. Every night, the fox would climb onto the roof and look up at the stars. Their dream, above all else, was to touch those stars. Not just that, the fox wanted to jump across them, like lily pads, guiding them through space. They wanted to see where the stars would take them. From where the fox sat, it seemed like they were forming a path. Thus, if they followed the path, it must take them somewhere special, right?
So, how'd the fox do it?
Well, they started going by their friend the owl, who was very wise because, duh, owls are always the wise ones.
You said that they didn't get to...
My story, remember? Anyways, the fox went to the owl, not only because the owl was smart, but she could fly. The fox asked the owl if she could fly them up to the stars. She shook her head, though. She couldn't fly up that high, even if she tried. But she had an idea. She may not be able to reach the stars, but she could reach the clouds. Because this is my fantasy world and I make the rules, I'm going to go ahead and say the clouds here aren't like normal clouds. These clouds you're able to stand on. Not just that, but they're super bouncy, like a trampoline. The owl thought if she could fly the fox up to the clouds, then they could bounce high enough to get to the stars. Simple as that. The fox thought it was super clever, so the following night they executed their plan. The owl let the fox sit on her back, and the two of them flew up and up and up until the owl finally couldn't go any higher. That was when the fox jumped off her back and onto the nearest cloud. And guess what? It worked! The fox went up even further, and they kept bouncing from cloud to cloud, going higher and higher with each jump. Around them, the sky grew darker. They couldn't even see their village anymore. Even when they started to feel scared, they kept jumping between the clouds until, eventually, there were no more clouds. The only place left for them to jump was the nearest star. Their paws landed on the surface of the star with grace. Don't worry, these are also fantasy stars, so the fox didn't burn alive. If anything, the star sent a pleasant tingling sensation through the pads of their feet. These stars were just like how a kid would draw stars. Not millions of light years apart, but clustered together, as if a living painting laid out before the fox's eyes. They were all the same cold yellow, all shining like glitter and glowing magnificently. They were exactly like the fox had always dreamed of. And the fox should be happy. Ecstatic, even. This is what they'd wanted all their life. But they weren't. Getting a closer look, they realized there was no cohesive path when the stars formed. In fact, there were far more stars than they had anticipated, spread out across the vastness of space. When they looked down, they saw the planet they had come from, and it was so much smaller than they had thought. When they looked up around them, they saw even more planets in the distance. Ones they couldn't see before. Planets that they could probably jump to if they tried hard enough. They could explore the universe by hopping from star to star. Their feet didn't move, though. Looking around, they realized just how small they were in comparison to those grand celestial bodies. All their life, they had lived with their own goals, aspirations, ideas, and thought that that was all there was. That there was just one life made just for them. They didn't realize how insignificant it all was until that moment. Their desire to touch the stars, the cookies they made each Monday, their friends. Was there another little fox on one of those distant planets with the same life, same dreams? Had that fox already accomplished all of their goals better than this fox ever could? Was it ever really the fox's choice to do all those things, or was that just the role it was expected to play in the grand scheme of things? How could they go home with the knowledge that all this time their village was only a speck of dust? The fox stayed on that first star they landed on. They stayed for a long time. It's possible the fox stayed there for the rest of eternity, standing on that star, staring out into space. It's possible they stayed until it burned out and died. No matter what, as long as they kept looking, they couldn't move. Because seeing it all up so close made them realize it didn't matter if they continued or not. They had always dreamed of touching the stars. And when they finally did, the stars didn't even notice. What a big universe, and what a small box. How dare they? How selfish of them to think that their choices mattered at all. Whew. That got a bit heavy at the end, didn't it, Miles? Good night, Miles. Try not to drink so much coffee tomorrow. I don't think I have any more bedtime stories left in me.
Microcosmos, a science fiction podcast. This bonus episode, To Touch the Stars, was written by Val West. It starred Jackson Rossman as Miles Abbott and Pippa Van Beek Patterson as Unit C41. Original music by Julia Barnes and sound editing by Jesse Smith. Be sure to stay tuned to our feed for upcoming episodes from the new backpacking intergalactic adventure from Futuristic Trail Mix Productions. Enjoying the show and want to give us a boost? You can support us by rating and reviewing us on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts, or telling a friend about us. To follow the show and find transcripts, you can find us on Twitter, Tumblr, and Instagram as @microcausepod. Questions, comments, and concerns can be emailed to us via futuretrailmixpros@gmail.com. Thank you for listening.